सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Good morning. Yeah, please see page number 112. Last quote in the page. The uplift of the women, the awakening of the masses must come first, and then only can any real good come about for the country, for India. It is only in the homes of educated and pious mothers that great men are born. You can say that it is only in the homes of educated and pious mothers that great men and women are born. Whenever Swamiji is using men, because he was a man, he was using man, he means both. He means human beings. So, now you are here to learn spoken English and maybe foreign language. So, what next in life? You learn the language for what? For getting a good job, right? Language, then job follows. After job, what you will do? Marriage, yes. Anybody wants to become like me? You also can become if you want. There is a Sharada Mat. Okay? If anybody wants to become nun, you don't want to become like me, right? You're sure. Very good. So, after marriage, after marriage, what? Children. Yes or no? We want to only have marriage, afterwards we don't want to become children. No, that's also a kind of sacrifice. No. Okay? Job, then marriage, then children. So what kind of children you want? What kind of parents you want to become? I know there is time, 5-6 years down. May not be immediately, because you may be in early 20s. So maybe it's another 5-6 times years of time is there for you. But nobody will tell you these things. Today's our education system only about livelihood, nothing about life. So nobody will talk about marriage there. Nobody will tell you what kind of parent you can become. So that's why I'm saying here, it is very important. You should have this idea. I want to become a great parent. I want to become a great father. I want to become a great mother. When you have this aspiration, you will bring great life into the world. Otherwise, it will happen unconsciously. It is just reproduction. In animals, it is reproduction, right? But in human beings, it should not happen that way. It should be conscious bringing of life into the world. Consciously, you bring a new life into the world. Vivekananda, how he became great. What he said about his parents, you know? Swami says, But oh, how different. My father and mother fasted and prayed for years and years so that I would be born. They pray for every child before he is born, says our great lawgiver Manu, giving this definition of an Aryan. He is the Aryan who is born through prayer. Every child not born through prayer is illegitimate according to the great lawgiver. The child must be prayed for. Those children that come with curses, that slip into the world just in a moment of inadvertence, because that could not be prevented, what can be expected of such progeny? Mothers of America, think of that. Think in the heart of your hearts. Are you ready to be women? Swami is saying, do you call do you all pray for the children to come? Are you thankful to be mothers or not? Do you think that you are sanctified by motherhood or not? Ask that of your minds. If you don't, Swamiji was telling this to American women in those days. If you don't pray for a child, if you beget the child inadvertently, they will become curses to the society. He's saying, do you think that you are sanctified by motherhood or not? మాతృత్వం మీకు పవిత్రతను ఆపాదిస్తుందని మీరు భావిస్తున్నారా లేదా? Next statement is, ask that of your minds. If you don't, your marriage is a lie. Your womanhood is false. Your education is superstition. And your children, if they are born, if they come without prayer, will prove a curse to humanity. So, if we all had come into this world, let us say, with Vivekananda's capacity, no, at least half of the Vivekananda's capacity, not even half, 1/10 of the Vivekananda capacity. All this struggle to learn the language would not have been here for today. He was such a genius, Ekasantagrahi. One reading would be sufficient for him to know. One single reading, he would remember everything. So you can have that kind of capacity. When? Because Swamiji is saying that that's not my greatness. My mother and my father fasted and prayed. వాడు ఉపవాసాలు ఉండి ప్రార్థన చేసి నన్ను ఈ ప్రపంచంలోకి తీసుకొచ్చారంట. Because of their tapas, actually, I became great, Vivekananda said. So we know what our capacities are, our capabilities are. You and I are not as great as Vivekananda. We don't have that much of intellectual capacity, that much of spiritual capacity. But as you will be bringing the tomorrow's generation, okay, I will be becoming parents tomorrow. You have a sacred responsibility on your shoulders. That is this. You should have an aspiration that what kind of parent I can become, what kind of parent I want to become. Because Swamiji is clearly saying, if you bring the child without prayer, there is no guarantee that the child will become Loka Kalyana Karaka. There is no guarantee that the child will actually help the society. First of all, the individual should be able to help himself or herself and also to help the society. Otherwise, they will become curses to the society, Swami is saying. So it's very important that you bring the child with prayer. If you bring the child with prayer, a divine child will be born. Child with divine samskaras. Child with sattva guna. That is how actually you can help yourself. Today, we think actually parenting will begin after the child is born. So in India, parents are so concerned about children. After 3 years or 4 years, what school I want to put my child, which is the best school. So much research they will do, right? Parents. Day and night, they think about only their children. Indian parents are the best parents in the world in that way because they sacrifice their lives practically for the sake of children. But only thing that they don't know is parenting begins after the birth of the child. They think, no, 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 no. Parenting begins actually when the child is in the womb of the mother. Okay? 80% happens there only. 82 not. 90% happens according to Swamiji. So what kind of thought the mother generates, what kind of emotion the mother generates in particular, mother in particular, but both. Okay? So that impacts the child. If there is negative thought and negative emotion, the child will get impacted negatively. And if it is positive thought, positive emotion, and the child will get impacted positively. That is an irreversible thing there. Positive or negative. You know how Duryodhana was born? Okay, Gandhari was a very, very pious woman, but she had wicked children, Kauravas. Why? Because she entertained this negative emotion of jealousy. She felt jealous of Kunti at that particular point of time because that jealousy had come to her, and for her children, it became their second nature. And you know Kunti, because she prayed to all the gods and had begotten these Pandavas, and they were always with dharma, always actually full of righteousness. Nothing in this world could tempt them. Never they could deviate from the path of dharma. Duryodhana was by birth the wicked. Only one evil quality, jealousy. He was intensely jealous of his cousins, that's all. Cousins were followers of dharma. And you know what happened? Ultimately, it resulted in Kurukshetra war. Krishna himself could not change Duryodhana, one person. I'm telling you, the prenatal influence is so powerful. It was not even Duryodhana's fault, it was Gandhari's fault. Because she generated that negative thought called jealousy. She was unconscious mother. Okay? She did not understand actually what kind of impact it would have on her children because she felt jealous of Kunti and she had begotten that wicked children. Otherwise, she was a very good mother in the sense she was very pious. She was as pious as Kunti, but she had wicked children because she entertained this negative emotion called jealousy. But today, this parenting is happening so unconsciously. And mother needs all the support of the family, entire family. She needs the support of husband, she needs the support of mother-in-law or father-in-law, other in-laws. Because if she develops any kind of stress or anxiety, if she undergoes any kind of stress or anxiety, that will be transferred to the child. And the child will be born with some kind of physical deformity or psychological deformity. Afterwards, you cannot actually, bring the child back to normal health. It's not possible. So there is a lot to this, in fact. Okay. We have started a program called Arya Janani, our people. That is just to help the expectant mothers. We just want to tell them that you need to lead a life of prayer, life of meditation, life of God oriented life so that actually you can keep yourself free from stress and anxiety. You can give birth to a great life. So it is very important with what kind of samskaras you're bringing a child into the world. If the child is born with good samskaras, if the child is born smart, born genius, born intelligent, then your struggle will become less, right? Putting the child in good school, the best school, all those struggles are not necessary. Bring people like Vivekananda into the world. That's all. School, everything is secondary. The child is born genius. So born geniuses you must bring as tomorrow's parents at least. We know what kind of capacity we have. We are all mediocre individuals, but the next generation should not be mediocre individuals or common ranks. We must bring genius into the world. That becomes possible when you cultivate the spiritual life and when you become a conscious parent. Thank you. Nice day.